the Netherworld too, right?
This is the editorial department for Unknown Realm, and you are keeping me from my work.
But that time, I sought help on the Cliff of Thee. You came.
Ah, for heaven's sake. I was just curious. A lady called and asked for help.
Oh, the water's boiled. I'll make some tea. Oh.
I don't know. You do things I'd never dream of doing. I've got to pull this story together. This is not a place for you.
I'm glad I went to Doolin, because that's where I met you. Goodbye, Keats, and thank you.
Brilliant. This is fabulous.
So yes, that was Folklore. There aren't any more cutscenes after the credits.
So real quick, just in case it couldn't fit the last part, since I kind of said it at the very last second. Yeah, I was thinking like near the halfway point. I was like, okay, either Keats is a Half-Life, or somehow he is Hervé. And they went with the former. So
you kind of guessed it both.
Yeah.
To be honest, because he is I think he was created by Harvey when Alan made that picture of him in the future as a writer. He wanted him wanting to be a writer and stuff like that. You know, striking resemblance of that in that picture.
Right. So yeah, that's what I was thinking, and yeah, they kind of went with that, and it, I guess it also explains why Keats has his stud muffin mode and Ellen doesn't.
Yeah. It's, they even mention it that he's an unusual messenger.
Yeah. Because
no other one had something like that. But in any case, yeah, I'm really glad that I covered this game. It's kind of been on my like mind to cover it ever since I finished it the first time around. It has a lot of really wonderful merits about it. The art direction, the graphics, its functionality for a PS3 launch title.
6-axis that doesn't suck.
6-axis that doesn't suck. That's like the only. And a very engaging story, in my opinion. The combat could have been slightly better, but I mean, honestly, they only had so much time to work on it. And for what it is, it shows a lot of potential. Which brings me to another point. This game was supposed to have a sequel. It was even supposed to have, I guess, like a port or a side game on the PSP. But none of that ever came to be.
Sadly.
Yeah. They even had plans to make it kind of like with the PSP game. They planned to make it like Pokemon, so where you would be able to trade folks between this game and you know, the PSP game. which would have been interesting since there's pretty much no functionality between PSP and PS3. Like almost completely none. The only instance I can think of, which is again only a Japan-only thing, was when they released Wild Arms XF. If you combined the save files with Wild Arms 5, if you played it on the freaking backwards compatible PS3, you could unlock extra stuff, which in the American version they just give it to you, kind of like it's unlocked. So yeah, there goes that, the only other instance I can think of.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I were to say about the side quests, I'm glad that I did them, but not all of them were good. I would be lying if I said that I enjoyed all of them. I would have wished that they made less side quests and made more of them as good as make less of them, but as good as the few that are that were really fun. Because there are way too many of them that are just, you know, go to the end of the dungeon, kill one thing.
Right.
Just kind of MMO-ish style side quests, which I don't particularly like, but well, they weren't the worst that I ever dealt with. Certainly way better than the ones in Nier. But yeah, it's such a shame that they never went anywhere with this little franchise. They were also going to have they're also going to make the sequel of it, compatible, or rather, well, to show off what PlayStation Move was capable of doing. Which, I mean, they made 6-axis work. They would have probably be able to work with that too. But yeah, overall, a fantastic game. Quite, I wouldn't exactly say underrated, because it has pretty good reviews. It's kind of underappreciated for all of its merits.
I wish I had known it was a thing way back when, because I would have liked to buy it. I actually do want to buy it in the future.
Yeah.
And I'll be sure to tell you how the US DLC folk works whenever that day comes.
Yeah. Yeah, just then we can make like a combined video showing off all of them.
Right.
I will do that one day. No promises on when. But I'll just show off each and every one of them, how they work in combat.
And you know, despite the ending, Scarecrow is still my favorite character. So
yeah, I don't know why, but I remember this ending being a lot more depressing when it came to Scarecrow. I guess it's because I didn't have the background information from all of the side quests, which again, I'm really glad that they did them. If only for the additional bits of lore and backstory for all of the characters, which I didn't expect.
Yeah. Freaking. But yeah, I'm glad you invited me for this. I really enjoyed this game.
It's some wonderful characters like Charlotte.
Yeah, Gomez.
And also the main cast of two characters of opposite sexes that do not end up together.
Yeah.
As a pair, they don't. As a couple, they don't. There is no reason for them to really have any relationship other than being friends, other than being people who care for each other.
Right. I like that the one side quest mocks the notion.
Yes, it's I so much appreciate that sort of approach. Like it's not a law that you need to fulfill to have two characters that need to have a relationship.
Yeah.
It's kind of also what I liked about well, Suikoden 3, because well, it comes up in comparison when it comes to the the whole multi-character perspective. They also had a female character and a male character around the same age. They never get together because they just don't work together. Well, I mean, they work together. That's another thing, but they just there is no chemistry between them, and they're have no reason.
Compatible.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they never go anywhere with that, and it's good because of that.
So. Oh man. It's,
One
fun
of
stuff.
yeah.
And I also still want to go on.
Game Republic has also made a whole bunch of other interesting games. One which I played over Christmas, which was an adaptation of well, it was a licensed movie title based off of the Brave story, which was really good actually. I never expected to be anywhere near as fun as it was. I will probably need to cover it one day as well.
Yeah, so that way I don't have to. For my license game deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be better for me to do it anyway, since I already know it better.
Right.
And now we get to the part which they had to add more music to this ending. This is actually the music from the advertisement for the game, and it doesn't fit at all.
It doesn't, no. This song does not fit this game in the slightest.
In the slightest. When I first watched the ad for it with this music playing in the background, I thought it was one of those videos where they just put some gameplay and random fucking ass music. No, this was actually what they went with.
Yeah. It reminds me of Dragon's Dogma that way. And how a lot of people say its opening theme doesn't fit it in the slightest. But
just like brain powered.
Yeah, brain powered with its carousel music. and its boobs opening. Yes,
it's boobs open, yeah. But yeah, I've seen like when it comes to me and in this game, this was like the first PS3 game to ever catch my attention back when the PS3 was released. I first saw like the part about the whole all of the monsters. I thought like all of the ghosts appearing in the pub, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be like a point-and-click adventure game, sort of like Siberia or something like that. But then it turns out that it's actually an action RPG, and with a lot of focus on storytelling, and with a very interesting setup. And well, I wasn't able to afford a PS3 back then, so it kind of remained at the back of my mind for once I had enough other reasons, which it took up until 2013 when I bought this game. But it was worth the wait. It lived up to the expectations I had from it. I deliberately avoided watching anything about it up until I played it to not spoil it for me.
Right.
It's like I literally watched like 30 minutes of gameplay until I went like, well, I want to experience it for myself, and it was worth it, and it was worth going through it again, just to show it off. And well, it was also a great material for testing out video settings, because YouTube hates this game.
Yes.
And sadly, I cannot improve much upon that. None of the videos I actually render end up looking the way they do once they are on YouTube. But what can you do?
But you know, despite everything too, I still totally say this should have a crossover with Okage. Just saying.
Speaking of that, with Sony recently just gaining back interest in publishing their old IPs, particularly a lot of RPGs on the PS4. we can only hope that they go back to their old ways of making RPGs that don't know what their genre is about.
Right.
We can only hope.
Like, I know now I want to start covering Ark the Lad, because of how it was announced that, hey, guess what? In a couple days, it's coming back. So.
Yeah.
But all in all, great game.